Hey everybody, welcome to a fresh video on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. We're back. The boys are back. The first of 4-year players were scheduled to come back today, the 22nd of November, 2021. It looks like everyone turned up, and it got me thinking. Preseason's begun. There's no better time to start thinking about, well, what do we want? What are we looking forward to? And I guess that's really the purpose of this video, just to start that discussion with you guys about what is it, what are the question marks that we all have heading into season 2022. Now there's a lot to play out, a lot of training to come, a lot more quotes to come and photos and footage. So I think before any of that happens, I've got a few questions myself that I want to ponder with you guys and then also get your take. Like, what are you looking out for? What are you specifically going to be watching? Who are you going to be watching? And that'll start the series of questions, which will help formulate the next series of videos on the channel. So I think the first one for me, first question I have is, what is the leadership group makeup going to be? And the reason why I say that is because we've lost, stalwarts of the club, Murphy, Betts. You can even throw in Casbolt in there in terms of guys who have really been around and, bled for many, many years. And we really just cut that off, and it's really time for this next group to take ownership of the club. And it looks like a much younger brigade are going to have, full ownership in a sense of the club. Like, obviously, the elder statesmen are now, Cripps and like Doherty, when he's around, and, Ed Kerno. But ultimately, I think it's, the Harrys, the Jacobs, the Sam Walshes, who start that next layer, and then we start trickling down some more. So for me, I want to know, what's the leadership group going to look like? A lot of conversation has happened in the preseason about, what do we do with captaincy? Do we keep it with Cripper and Doc, or do we go with just Cripps, or do we change it all together? Is it time to hand it over? I'm still in the Cripps camp. I think he can do it on his own. I would assume, it's very much an assumption at this stage, but I could be wrong. I would assume Doherty might step down, or they might take it off him for a bit, just to, I think there's a lot more at play in his life than football, but maybe not. Maybe they'll keep him on as captain. We'll see how that one plays out, but I'm really interested to know who takes ownership of the group, because ultimately, once the games start, the same questions from last year are gonna want to be asked. Like, in the crunch moments, who can, the players rely on, and who can we rely on to set the standards and to lift. Obviously, you want 22 contributors, but ultimately your leadership group is the one that you first look at to set the standard for everyone else. So I'm really interested to see the makeup of that. The next one for me is really the structure of the side, because I think David Teague's philosophy will be different to what Michael Voss's philosophy will be. Now, obviously, we have the Harry, Mitch, and Charlie 3-forward combo with Jack Silvani sprinkled in there, and is that going to stay the same? I can already see some quotes coming out that, it looks like Mitch McGovern will look to take on that Liam Jones void that's been left. So I'm excited to see what that is. And I think there's a level of like unpredictability about the structure that other clubs, they won't know. We're a new team. We're a new team, new structure. And I think that also follows into my next question of the positional changes. Like, what are we going to be doing? Are we still going to be wanting to use these hybrid mid-forwards, or are we going to, nail it down a little bit more into, no, this is your role, you're the wingman, you're the inside midfielder, or you're the two inside midfielders and you're the two outside. I'm looking forward to seeing the structure and how it's all placed there. The next question, pretty obvious. It's the same question every year. Who's going to make the lift? Who's going to step up? Who is going to, cement themselves in the side that we didn't see coming at the start of the year? I think this time last year we were hoping for Liam Stocker, and then by the end of 2021 we got, assured. We were pretty assured that Liam Stocker's here. He's going to make it, and obviously he was going through his own personal battles, and so it was a great story for him to be able to overcome that and get himself right mentally and physically and get into the side. So I'm looking forward to seeing who makes that lift. I mean, I'll do a separate video on this, but early stages, I'm really looking at what Will Setterfield can do. I know that 2020 he was voted our most improved player. 2021 wasn't a great year for him, but I'm still holding out hope that he can, nail down a spot in there and come back. The Lockie O'Brien situation, what's going to happen there? Can Paddy Dow go up another level? Matt Kennedy, can he stay in the side? Marchbank, where's he at? Tom Williamson. There's a few of these guys on those fringe levels who are now entering that, fourth and fifth season, where it's kind of like, we really want it to work with you, but we've got to see it. So I'm excited to see who that's going to be. I think Sam Phillips, another name in there as well. The next one I'm looking forward to is, I guess, when we do hear from them, is the message authentic? Am I feeling like I'm not being told what I want to hear and I'm being told what I need to hear? Am I being told the truth? And I think that's a pretty big one for me. Look, so far so good. We had the Brian Cook People's Presser a few days ago. That was great. I'm hoping we have more of the same from the coaches that speak and the players that speak. I would hope to feel the same way as I felt watching that, because I felt like I was being spoken to in a way where I'm not an idiot and I'm just being told this is how it is and there's no fluff. And that's probably one of the overarching feelings that I have so far this offseason. There hasn't been any fluff. I'm not here to provide any fluff, even though I love the Kool-Aid at times. And I will get excited. Of course I'll get excited, because it's, this is part of our identity, the footy, and, for the majority of the year, this is what we do. This is what we live and breathe. So I'm looking forward to seeing, the change in communication, because obviously we've gone through a lot of changes. We wanted change. The members wanted change. We demanded it. We screamed for it. We got it. So I'm looking forward to seeing, now that the honeymoon period, we're probably still in there, but as it starts dwindling down, will the consistent transparency still be there? So that's important for me. I don't like to make it too individual, but I mean, Charlie Curnow's a big one as well. Like, that's the big one in terms of, we'll be sweating, watching, seeing what kind of Charlie are we going to get. I don't want to put pressure on him. That's the main thing. But ultimately, everyone's under pressure. Like, they're all under pressure. And it's just more from will we get anything close to the Charlie that we believe we were going to get when we drafted him? Are we going to get a different version of what he could be, or does he still have the opportunity to be as great as what he was on the path to becoming? Obviously, he's missed a lot of footy. So good to get him back, just playing footy again. And I think I don't know if you call him a barometer now, but the reality is, if he's able to lift to a level where he's kicking 40, 50 goals, or he's as good as Harry, or even better than Harry, then forget it. It's a wrap. Premiership, it's a wrap. But I guess, for me, I just want to see him get through the season and contribute to a point where it's enough, or, more than enough, but definitely at a base level. I'm looking at something like 30 goals. That'd be great to give that option. But yeah, his health is definitely one for me, because he's one of the cornerstones of the core of the group, and, hopefully one of the leaders of the group moving forward. So Charlie's a big one. I also think, almost by the same token, Caleb Marchbank. So these are two guys who, on either end of the field, are very important for in their own right, for various reasons. But obviously, we've lost Jones. We know McGovern will look at the opportunity to play as a defender. But I remember when we first got Marchbank, and I remember, Wiedering was coming through, and the idea in my head was, well, it's going to be Wiedering and Marchbank patrolling that defense. It's going to be Harry and Charlie who, take the forward, and then it'll be Cripps, and then eventually Walsh, who will, sort of make up the spine of the group, with Tom De Koning as that ruckman, or ruck forward, however you place him. So Marchbank's another one. He's the one that's missed a lot of footy. What can you expect? What can you rely on? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure in their head, they're determined, they're motivated, they're putting no limits on what they're capable of. And it probably leads into my next question, which is, can we get some good luck with some health? A lot of talk about Andrew Russell and the program and the loading and all of that, but I still think that every club that wins a premiership does it with a bit of luck, and it's just not something that's come our way for a number of years now. And I hope that we can buck the trend this year, because it seems like every year we get to the end of the season, guys get put in for surgery, we wrap them up, and we're just missing crucial players all the time. Now, obviously, I don't know what the Doc situation is, or if he will be playing or whatnot, but there's that. There's the Liam Jones retirement. So it almost feels like it's already begun. And, hopefully that's the end of it. I'm looking to see how many players can we get a full preseason into. And I'm sure every supporter of every club feels the same. But, yeah, the luck factor has to come at some point. So, look, those are some of my thoughts, some of my musings, but, there's a lot more questions to be answered. I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments below. Let us know in the comments below. What are your questions going into, the preseason for 2022? What are you looking for? Who are you looking out for? What really matters to you from a question point of view about the club as we enter season 2022? We'll chat about it in the comments and we'll go from there.